Good morning, gentlemen.
How's Mark? You know what page we were on in the POE last?
Hi, colleagues.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today?
No complaints, or many complaints? It's not Friday yet.
I'm glad. If there are no complaints, I think we should start.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Howard, who invited you?
I invited myself.
Howard, why do you have two names?
Sorry?
No, Howard.
I
Oh,
don't
Howard.
know. I don't know. My mom just gave me two names.
It was all those years when you used to work with me. I didn't call you Howard once.
Yeah, that's because the time we were working at ABSA, they were using Simpiwe,
Yeah.
not Howard. And then TCM is using Howard instead of Simpiwe.
Sounds like some fraudulent behavior there.
Yeah, there's no fraud.
Mark, where's Anthony?
No idea, buddy. Last I gave him a FNB, so he might be just dialing in on his phone because he's got a FNB 4-hour SLA he needs to.
Hey, nah. Good luck to him.
Okay. We are here now. I believe when we left, we have already completed this this task, colleagues, activity number 3. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
What page are we on?
Okay, let us look at area and parameter. Did we do it the last Wednesday, where we refer to the shapes and the sizes? Okay, in the interest of that, let us look at the area and the parameters in the project implementation, where the area of a shape refers to as the space contained inside of the lines creating the shape. The area of a shape is defined as the number of squares units that covers a closed figure. So sometimes you will be confronted with that, where you need to cover the area in relation to your project. And the parameter of a shape is defined as the distance around the shape. So obviously, when you do a project, you won't be doing the entire project in the area. So you have to be confronted within the certain parameters. That's what we're referring to. And obviously, those things need to be calculated as per your project, colleagues. Be mindful of that. And we can always calculate the area and the parameters in this fashion. They're in your study guide. You can refer to your study guide where you say you multiply by 100 in certain hectares and you divide by 100 to get the QM square meter. As we go on as centimeters and millimeters. And obviously there will be quadrilaterals, four-sided shapes that we can also look at your page 38 and 44. Four-sided shapes are illustrated and described in your study guide. And there will be equilateral triangles, isosceles triangles and right angle triangles and scalene triangles, where you can look at the different shapes of those shapes, sizes, and sides in your study guides. I'm not going to look at activity number 4 as yet. Let us move on. Let us check at the cost control. Cost control happens before, during, and after project implementation, but the most pertinent action happens during the project implementation, colleagues. We will review some aspects of the project cost management, but we will focus on the aspects that we need to engage with to control the cost. Monitoring costs using the essential financial instruments, considering the interest, keeping your eye on exchange rates and the overall impact of the economy. So I thought let's park that activity. We'll come back to it, but let us push theory. Like I said last week, we need to push theory because time is of the essence now. We're falling behind the schedule. And of course, in the cost control, in any project, you will look at the project cost control includes the following: influencing the factors that creates change to authorize cost baselines, to ensure all the change requests are acted on a timely manner, managing the actual change when and as they occur, ensuring the cost expenditure do not exceed the authorized funding by period. Obviously, by WBS component, you need to be monitoring that at all time so that you don't exceed the projected cost of that project, because you need to be within your project scope and the project costed in that project. You don't over exceed. Obviously, we need to do the monitoring cost performance to isolate and understand variances from the approved cost baseline. Monitoring work performance against funds expended, preventing approved changes from being excluded in the reported cost or resource usage. And of course, forming appropriate stakeholders of all approved changes and associated costs, and bringing expected cost overruns within acceptable limits. And then when we talk about the financial instruments, we're talking about assets that can be traded, or they can also be seen as packages of capital that may be traded. Most types of financial instruments provide efficiency flow and transfers of capital all throughout the world investors. And these assets can be cash, contractual rights to deliver or receive cash, or another type of financial instruments, or evidence of one's ownership of an entity. And of course, the financial instruments can be bought and sold for investment or borrowing. Financial instrument falls into 3 main classes: cash or money market instruments, bonds, and fixed income instruments, and shares, equities. I don't know your company do bonds, but there was one in the city of Johannesburg, they were doing bonds. Bonds is whereby you invest in a certain organization and then you get the dividends of that investments. Be as it may, you can take the funds of the organization and invest in that, in the certain bonds, and you get the rewards of that, the interest that you have invested on. And then you can return it to the organization and make a usage of whatever financial that you want to implement in your organization. Some are more suitable for saving or borrowing in the short term than long term, because when you do bonds, you can do it for a very long term, and then when you return, you've got sufficient money to do other activities in your organization. Also, the risk or loss, losing money when you invest in these instruments differs from project running over a period of time. Investing could increase the profit, however, stated it is a risky. There are some financial instruments which a project manager can use to raise funds, invest in, or protect itself from losing. It is, however, a decision that all the relevant stakeholders will make before this will happen, and it will highly depend on the project and the time frame of the project. So if you have a project in 6 months, you cannot want to invest the funds because you're looking at the longer duration. So it's not viable for you to be investing while you are doing the project for shorter duration. And of course, there are financial instruments that we can also look at. The long-term will be insurance. Long-term insurance will be such as person insurance, short-term insurance, derivative instruments include features and options, unit trust. These are other financial instruments that one can look at. Financial instruments also. There are costs of financial instruments. There are costs of dealing with financial instruments. If you are an investor, i.e. lending money to someone through a bank or an authorized financial institution, you are charged management fees. You charge management fees, commissions, taxes, value-added tax on income and tax on growth, your invested money achieved. Budgeting as a control measure. When you are budgeting, you are planning how you will spend your money or your funds you expected to generate from the business venture over a period. In budgeting, you need to consider the elements discussed below, such as income, expenses, where the income will be, it will be things that you are having an income in such a way that in your project, you have budgeted for a certain, say, 100,000. And then your expenses there in that 100,000 becomes a 50,000. And then you need to start your project. And then when you start your project, obviously in that 100,000, you don't complete the 100,000, there's a surplus of 20,000. It's still an expense, and that you need to record. If there's any surplus in any project, you need to record that if you didn't exceed your expenses. In income, this will be the total amount of the project sponsored is paying you to deliver the project from the start to finish. Expenses, you need to know how much it costs to produce the goods or services you offered. Every project cost including bank charges, cleaning materials, etc., must be included to ensure that you are not making losses. Sorry. So in any project, you record any expenses that you incur, so that when you see if you have any surplus, you know that you have covered everything in your project. Because remember, when you do a project, you are estimating a cost, and you must have a good be a good estimator as far as the budget is concerned, because you need to estimate that funds will be enough for the duration of the project. That is why I was making reference to, if you have a surplus, you will record that there was a surplus in our project, and therefore surplus of 10,000 was left and recorded because it was funds that were not used. I thought I should bring this financial instrument as one of the examples. As it is a control measure, the project manager can check if the actual costs are in line with what was planned. This is what you can use. This is one of the tools that you can use to check whether you are still in line with what you have planned in your project. Any questions, colleagues?
All good so far, thanks.
Okay, colleagues, I think last week you were attempting to do activity number 4, and there will be activity number 5 that we need to do. I'm gonna request you, I'm pleading with you, let us try to push as hard as we can in activity number 4. Let us complete activity number 4 now and do activity number 5, because it's part of what we have just covered now. Activity number 4, because it was all about the shapes, and I remember, I think it was Gareth or Mark, you were already trying to get into that activity, and when we stopped, I said we will continue, because activity number 3 we've already touched based on that one. So this is about calculating shapes and the parameters and what. And then now I've just covered this activity number 5, so that you are able to do what cost control calculations. Then we can move on as well to other financial instruments, as we need to be completing activity number 6. I need us to push as much as we can, but let us do these activities, because I know we'll fall off if I continue with the theory now, because we still need to do the economy activity. So I'm getting worried of the time that we have. So can we do activity number 4 in our POEs and activity number 5 in our POEs? Let me share what I have now. Activity number 4 was this. Do you recall, colleagues, when we were attempting to do this, and then we said we'll come back to it?
What's happening, guys? Are we supposed to discuss this, or what's happening here? Just hearing silence.
What was happening last week? You were already attempting to do the activity, or did you do it? Because I remember you were already engaging on discussing the shapes and size. What is this and what is this kind of a shape and what now? I'm not sure whether I said we will continue with this activity when we engage this week. So we need to do, you need to be doing this activity, number 4 and 5.
Okay, off we go. Taylor, you can lead. But Taylor's the maths man.
Sorry, just busy. I'm busy moving a corner. I'll be back now.
Okay, let me see. Gareth, you want to lead, Gareth? Because we need to move. We've got 2 activities to get through. Or Howard? Or anybody?
Anybody, colleagues, and then we will summarize what we have just discussed. And in the process, remember, we need to be trying to complete the formative activities in this session so that you know exactly what you need to be doing. I will mute myself. I'll check up on you. I mean, I don't know how many questions are here. It's about It's about 8 questions.
Okay, cool. I'll take the lead.
Thank you, sir.
Is everybody on formative activity for calculating shapes? Can I proceed?
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. So it says here for each polygon, what is the order of symmetry? I'm going to read the question again. For each polygon, what is the order of symmetry? So there's 2 catchwords there, order and symmetry. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
The thing is, I'm not sure if we're supposed to state the lines of symmetry, or I'm not sure what we're supposed to state here, because maybe a triangle has 3 symmetry lines, so that's what I know. But then I'm not sure if that's what's needed. We need to state the symmetry lines or
That's exactly what you need to do. That's exactly what you need to do.
Oh.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
So
What is their order of symmetry? The order.
okay. So what I'm thinking, I'll just share my thoughts. Symmetry means
Oh, okay.
symmetrical,
So we have to
or the
state the
same.
symmetry lines. A triangle has 3 symmetry lines, and then a square has 4. A pentagon has 5 symmetry lines, and then a hexagon has 6 symmetry lines. I don't know if you agree with me or you disagree.
I agree with what you're saying there, but my thought is when they're talking about order, I'm looking as you read from left to right. So the way I'm wanting to answer this question is from left to right, on where they got the question A. Triangle, it's first from left to right. Okay, and it's already telling it's got 3 sides, right? Then reading from left to right, the 4-sided figure is second from left to right. And the pentagon, which has got 5 equal sides, is third reading from left to right. And the last one is 4th reading from left to right. That is the order in which they are. And I think that's
the
how
question
I'll
real quickly.
Hello?
Can I ask a question real quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is for each polygon, what is their order of symmetry? Symmetry is basically when you bisect that thing and it looks symmetrical on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Which means that the triangle will have 2, not the lines of symmetry, but it's symmetrical. It's bisymmetric. If you cut it in between from the top to the bottom there, you will have 2 sides that look alike. Yeah. And the square will have 1, 2, 4 sides that look alike. Yes.
Yeah.
it four side?
Sorry, can I butt in?
Eh?
Can I butt in? Yeah. When
Yeah.
an order of symmetry is when you turn that thing around.
Turn it around.
Is it going to look the same? So for all those things, it's going to be like for the triangle, it'll be three. Order of symmetry will be 3. For the square, it'll be 4. For the pentagon, 5. For the hexagon, 6. So if you turn that
What do you
thing
mean
on
by
the,
turn
to the next
around?
side, it's going to look the same.
What do you mean by when you turn it around? Explain that to me.
If you turn, you see the triangle is. If
Yes.
you turn it on the other side, if you turn it around, look, that it's face that it's now lying on the other side, it's still going to look like that triangle.
When you
Okay?
lie it on the other side.
Yes, there's 3 sides on that triangle. So if you turn it around, that the side, say, if you place it on the right side.
Yeah, Anthony, you are quite right. Symmetry, colleagues, is the shape that you will turn it around and it will look exactly the same, which when you rotate it, whichever way, in an orderly way, whether clockwise, anti-clockwise. I thought I should just add there so that you get the picture.
I am understanding symmetry as if you had to reflect that thing, it will look exactly the same. So if I bisect you in between, one of your side will look exactly like the other side. That's what symmetry means. So I get confused when we are talking about turn around.
It's the mirror image they're talking about.
No,
No, we're not talking about mirror image. So if we had to bisect it, yeah.
Say, okay, there's 3 sides, A, B, and C of the triangle.
Yes.
At the moment, it's lying on its side A, okay. And if you
Okay.
rotate it, that side B is now
But when you're rotating
on the
it
bottom.
now, you're rotating it now. Let's say it was not a triangle that is even, right? Let's say one side was slightly shorter, it was a bit squinted. When you rotate it,
Yes.
there is a part, there would be a part that would be symmetrical on the triangle, but if you rotate it, if you had to make it sit on side B or side C, it might not still be symmetrical. So if we're talking about a symmetry of an object, the way it is, without having to turn it around, is basically bisecting it in between and having 2 sides that are symmetrical, yes?
I agree with what you're saying, yeah.
Yes,
But-
yes. I think you are right, yes. But I think the way they looking at it, yeah, if you put it on any side, it's still going to look the same. That is what
Basically-
I
But
don't
let's
think
try
they
to
want to
understand
get
this.
you into to think too deeply about that thing. How are you going to turn it around or rotate it, or if one side was longer than the other? I don't think they want. They just want to figure out. Okay, there's 3 sides, and that it's going to be order of symmetry will be 3.
Basically, I think you guys are saying the same thing, basically, whether you're cutting it in half or rotating it more. But what you are saying in common here is that all those sides of each of those things are all equal in length. So that is the equilateral triangle. It's not an isosceles triangle or whatever. It's an equilateral, which means each side is exactly equal to each other. Similarly, the square, each side is equal to each other in length. And the same for the pentagon and the same for the hexagon. Can we agree on that?
You're quite right. I've just shared you a link. If you may want to look at it, it will assist you heavily. It's only at the chat there.
Okay, guys, I don't know. We're just standing here, we're not agreeing on anything. So, okay, this is what I've answered in my question. If we can discuss it or see if I'm right or wrong. So I said basically, where they gave that A, B, C, D, E, there I've put notes in it's first from left to right, like I said, second from left to right, third from left to right, and fourth from left to right. Then I say each polygon is symmetrical. Each one has equal sides in length. That is my conclusion for making that statement. The order in which they are arranged is according to the number of sides each one has, starting with a triangle having 3 sides on the left and ending with a hexagon having 6 sides on the right. That's my answer to the question. I'm not going to change it. That's what I'm going to say.
On my side, I counted the symmetry lines, and then it's 3 for a triangle, 4 for a square, 5 for pentagon, and 6 for hexagon. I assume
I think we are missing the question somewhere here. The order of symmetry. Anyway, I think let's we need the facilitator to come and assist us with this symmetrical thing, because the question is asking us for each polygon, what is their order of symmetry? For a triangle, the order of symmetry must be 2.
If you rotate the triangle,
why are you rotating that triangle? There's no part that is asking us to rotate that triangle. It's as is. So we need to look at this. The question is asking about the symmetry of the triangle. So why would we be rotating it? Why would we be rotating any one of these polygons for us to answer that question?
Okay, let's look at it. If I can maybe suggest something. What do they mean by the order? If I told you what's the order of the hierarchy in TCM, for example?
Too far. Come back to normal English. The order of what?
What do they mean when they're asking, just if you break that question, what is the order?
For each polygon, what is the order of symmetry? So the first polygon there is a triangle. Let's just look at that. Let's blind ourselves from all the other 3 polygons. The first polygon, in their order, the first polygon is a triangle. What is its order of symmetry? If you are looking at, okay, so what is symmetric? What is something that is symmetric? We need to first maybe explain to ourselves what symmetry is, understand that, and then we can be able, the order of symmetry is how many parts of that would be symmetrical, right? How many parts of that would be symmetrical if it gets bisected or dissected or whatever, right? That would be what they're asking us by the order of symmetry. If you run a lateral line, so if you run a lateral line across the triangle, you will have 2 sides that, okay, you'll have in this one, in the triangle, you'll run a lateral line across it from the top to the bottom. The order of symmetry will be 2. The other one will have 4 order of symmetry. The other one will have 1, 2, 3 order of symmetry. And the other one will have 1, 2, 3 order of symmetry or something like that. I'm not drawing them down, but if you had to run a line on each one of this, you will see the order of symmetry clearly. A circle, for example, can have 4 order of symmetry.
I'm looking at the question more in terms of, there's 4 shapes there. How are they arranged? What is the order? Why did they put the triangle there and not the square first? Or why did they not put the hexagon first? Or put the pentagon first? That's the order that I'm looking. I'm looking at the order in terms as 4 shapes, and moving from left to right. You first got the 3-sided figure, then you got the 4-sided figure, then you got the 5-sided figure, and the 6. So the order is it's arranged with the one that's got the least sides on the far left, going to the other one, to the 4th shape, which has got 6 sides, and it's on the right. So the order is from left to right, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided figures. That's the order.
But the order that they're asking is the order of symmetry. They're not asking on the order of placement, right? And I just went to Google and I looked at what symmetry, the symmetry definition on Google, right? And the symmetry in shape says a figure or shape that can be divided into 2 equal parts by a line is called a symmetrical figure.
To be
The
agreed
shapes
that
and
they're
objects that are
automatic.
irregular and do not resemble each other when divided into two parts are called asymmetric. So we are looking at the order of symmetry here, not the order in which the shapes of the polygons are placed.
Chili,
Yes, sir.
I just checked the order of symmetry meaning on Google. It says the number of positions in which a figure can be rotated and still appears exactly as it did before the rotation. That's what the order of symmetry is. That's why I was talking about the rotations and all that.
You know what, you are right, Chile, you are absolutely right. But the question, it says the order of the symmetry. So I understand where you come from. Yes, having the symmetry, then the definition of a symmetry is quite what it says. And Howard, you're coming quite right with that perspective, because that's what the question it says. How would you ordering that symmetry? If you rotate that, it's still the same. Rotating it, it will give you the order of the symmetry. They are both saying the right things, but the question is asking you about the order of the symmetry. I thought I should throw in there. Howard, you can continue.
No, thank you. I've already answered the questions when we began. So I'm not sure if everyone understands, but then we can move on maybe to the next question if we do understand. Mark, you can lead us again.
Okay, moving to question 2. You want to tile a bathroom. The bathroom dimensions are shown below with a shaded area indicating the bath. What is the size of the area that must be tiled? I think this question, in my opinion, I can just give my opinion, it's not explicit, there's some assumption that you understand that they're talking about maybe tiling the entire area, or that you're not going to tile under the bath. So there we need to decide what area are they talking about.
We are tiling the shaded area, the shaded part, all of the shaded part.
Where did they say that?
No, I think
It
what they
states
mean
there in
is
the
the
question.
shaded area is the bath. You're not going to tile.
The shaded area
underneath
is the
bath.
bath.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
That's
but
just,
they
that's
just
the white area that will be shaded, that will be tiled.
But how do we know? Are they actually saying we're not going to tile the shaded area? That's the thing. You've got to make some assumption here. So this question I've answered 2 ways. The one, if we tiling the entire area, which is the easiest one, which is too little for the amount of points, and if they're talking about the area that is not shaded, so we're going to basically tile everything around the bath besides the area that the bath is going to stand itself.
But the question is clear. It says you want to tile the bathroom. And then the bathroom dimensions are the ones shown with the shade, with the shaded area indicating the bath.
Now okay, I hear what you're saying, but I understand that too. That statement makes it tells you there's the bathroom area and the shaded area. It's 2 things, 2 different things. There's the total area of the bathroom, and there's the total area that the bath will stand in, which is shaded. That's my understanding of that statement. And then they say, basically, what is the size of the area that must be tiled? What area they talking?
I think it's a bit confusing in that, because that's the shaded part is where the bath is. So that 1.8 by 0.8 won't be tiled because the bathtub will be there. So you must tile that space 3 meters by 2.5 minus the 1.8 by 0.8.
Yeah, well, that's basically how I answered it. And in case I've said basically answered it that way, because I'm assuming that is what they're trying to ask, because it's not clear. It's basically, the question should be that there's no ambiguity or misunderstanding, is what is the area for the unshaded that was to be tiled? Or, it's hanging in the middle of nowhere, the way I read the question itself. So, but I agree with you. I've also answered in terms of the unshaded area, and I've taken the total area of the bathroom minus the area that the bath is going to occupy, and that would give us the answer. Does everybody agree on that?
So that whole thing will be the bathroom, and the bathroom dimension are indicated as 3 meters by 2.5. However, the shaded part is the bath, which is 1.8 by 0.8.
Yeah. So yeah, that's correct. So basically, I answered my question. Assuming you're talking about the unshaded area, that's how I'll calculate it. If you're talking about removing the bath entirely, the whole bathroom, put the bath back, then it will be the total area of the bathroom. Because the question itself, I don't find it clear. It's not clear. They're not telling you exactly. It's hanging in it. It's open to interpretation.
I think because of the way they ask these questions, the facilitator should give us a mark regardless of. Or kanjani Pratabo?
I agree with you. I don't think there's any correct answer. It's just a matter that you need to understand how to calculate the area. So if you decide, for example, to include the area under the bath, they can't mark you wrong. If you decide to go just the entire, like remove the bath, or you want to subtract it, I don't see. I'm just looking at the amount of points. So it would make sense that they probably meant that, because it's going to tie up to the points. Because if you just want to get the entire bathroom, you would just say, well, it's the area for a rectangle is length times breadth, which is 3 times 2.5. Does that validate why you're getting 6 marks for it? I don't know. You know what I mean?
It could be 2 marks each step.
That makes sense, yeah. Working at the total one, and then subtracting the 2, and that makes more sense to get the points.
And also, it's all about the application than the understanding. And I was not part of the crafting of the questions, and the bottom line is how you arrive to that answer and how do you understand it. And the bottom line is understanding the concept entirely. The activities, and when we mark that, we want to see the demonstration of he or she understands the concept of this module.
So the way I answer the question, you guys can just tell me if you agree, and we can move on. I said, if the question refers only to tiling the area surrounding the bath, I refer. The total bathroom area minus that area will be the total bathroom area minus the bath area itself. And obviously the area for a rectangle or whatever is basically length times breadth. So I said that will mean we take the length times breadth for the dimensions given for the bath, for the entire bathroom, minus the length and the breadth times the breadth given for the bath itself. And that worked out to 3 times 2.5 minus 1.8 times 0.8. That broken down further gave me 7.5 minus 1.44. So the total unshaded area of the bathroom would be 6,06 square meters. You have to say it's square meters as well, as that is the unit for measuring area. Is everybody on board? Can we move? Or
Yep. Right. You're right.
okay, must I move on? Guys?
The thing is, we understand the question differently.
Yep, but like the lecturer now said, they're going to mark you on your understanding of the question, and it doesn't mean that you understand, because because it's been so poorly communicated and open to interpretation. They cannot actually mark you or fault you or hold you accountable for it not being communicated clearly that there's only one answer. Understand?
Yeah.
So I think we must just, because we must agree that there's always going to be, with non-clear communication, that there's no other way to understand it. It's only that way. You know what I mean?
But then it doesn't say the total. We must get the total surface area. So when we calculate the unshaded part, and the shaded part. Now we're looking for the total surface area instead of looking for the area that you must tile, which is the bathroom.
Yeah, but you see, otherwise, I mean, can you imagine if we didn't get the total area, how it could be quite a complicated thing then to go and work out to ignore the given. They gave you the total area, because do you agree that if you subtract the total area of the bathroom from the area of the bath itself, that it would give us that funny shape?
At the end of the day, whether you calculate the 1.8 by 0.8 or the 2.5 by 3, you are still going to be calculating an area of a rectangular.
Exactly.
So either way you do it, you're still going to show the competency that you know how to calculate an area of that shape. I think it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you need that formula A equals to W times L.
Yeah, okay. I just thought Howard was not understanding why we were wanting to get the total. It's an easier way to subtract that. Otherwise, if all that wasn't given, imagine that they give you that L shape, which is basically the unshaded area, and take everything else away until you calculate that. Then you would have to use some brain power there, I would think.
Okay, we can move on. It's fine.
Okay, I don't know where my thing is now.
What just happened?
I'm not sure.
Now I'm talking about you losing your thing. How do you do that?
Sorry, now I see my not nothing. Now I've a whole big blank space. Okay, so we go to question 3. Calculate the perimeter, or they say boundary, and the area of the following drawing. So there's 2 questions there. Do you guys agree? Guys?
Yep.
Do we agree there's 2 questions
Yeah.
Yes.
in there? There's one is the perimeter, and the other one is the area of the what you put. So who knows the formula to calculate the perimeter of a triangle?
It's there on Google. Every one of these formulas are there on Google.
Oh, but the perimeter is quite easy. It's the boundary measurements. Do we all agree it's going to be side plus side plus side? Hello?
Yes, for the perimeter, it can be side per side per side.
Yeah, but now what is catchy there? How many sides do we have?
You only got 2 sides. You need to work out the third side.
Any idea how we do that?
Google.
Google's not going to help. Do we agree that's a right angle triangle?
Why is it important?
Do we agree that the angle between the 20 centimeter side and the 34 centimeter side is 90 degrees?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But
cool.
why is it important?
That's very important, because if you want to get the hypotenuse, which is the point from the top of the 20 centimeter line to the end of the 34 centimeter line, that's the hypotenuse, or the side opposite the 90 degree thing, you would need to calculate that to get the actual perimeter length. We agreed that we're going to need to add up all the sides to get the perimeter length, but we only got 2 sides. We're missing 1 side. We need to box it. We need to calculate the third side. So how would we calculate the third side?
We're going to have to use Pythagoras' formula.
That's correct. Everybody know Pythagoras' formula? Basically, it says if you want to calculate the area of the hypotenuse or the side opposite the 90 degree bound angle, you would need to add the square of the one side. As basically you get, it's what a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if I can put it that way, so you'll have to square the 2 sides that make up the right angle triangle, the right angle triangle, the 90 degrees. So it's 20 squared plus 34 squared would equal to that hypotenuse, or that long line opposite the 90 degree angle. So Marcus, can you work that out fast, buddy? 20 squared is probably 400 centimeters.
Is 400
And 34 squared
34 squared is 1156.
plus 400.
It's 1556.
And the square root of
Square root of
1556.
56 is, I'll tell you now. Just going to find my calculator. Two seconds.
You got it, Marcus? Does this PC thing have a square root function? I never even looked for it. Here's the square root, I think. Have to see 4. Yeah, that thing on its side. So what did we say is 400 plus how much? Marcus?
1156. That's altogether
1156. What's the total?
1556.
1556, and we want the square root of that.
Yeah,
The square root of that is 39.4.
39.4.
Well, let's
Yeah.
make it 39.45.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody on board there? Can we move? Guys? Hello?
Yeah, it's correct. It's correct.
Okay, cool. The next part of that question is we want the area of the following drawing, which is that right angle triangle. So how do we calculate the area of a right angle triangle?
The area of a triangle.
I don't think it's the area of a triangle per se, it's an area of a right angle triangle. Okay, if you Google that, I don't know if you find it, I don't know.
AB over 2.
Now, the formula is half the base multiplied by the height times a half. So it's half base,
so
base
it'll
times
be,
height.
So it'll be 20 times 34 divided by 2.
Correct.
340.
Yeah, that's what I got. Remember, you got to answer area in square meters, okay?
Yeah.
So that will be 340 square, so not meters, centimeters, okay?
Yeah.
And the perimeter where we added all the sides would be in centimeters. Can we move on?
Yes.
Guys, or any, I don't know if anybody wants. I think we're all on par with that. Yeah, okay. Janine? I think that meant to be Janine. Question 4. Janine has a bag with 3 drawers, 4 marbles, 7 books, and 1 orange. I'll read it again. Janine has a bag with 3 drawers, 4 marbles, 7 books, and 1 orange. Now they say, what is the ratio of books to marbles? So that order, we covered it, the lecture covered in, I think, last week's module. That order, what is the ratio of books to marbles? So in other words, the ratio of books to marbles is different to the ratio of marbles to books. It's very important to remember that. So basically, to give a ratio, you normally give a ratio, it's like 1:2 or whatever, but it's separated by a colon. That's how you give a ratio, right? So the order that they're giving it there, they're saying, what is the ratio of books to marbles? So in other words, you've got to put, the first thing you've got to put is, how many books are there? Well, that's my thinking on it, at least. And then the colon to marbles. So what would that ratio be? Any ideas?
7:4.
Yeah, that's 7:4. I don't know how much further, but that is a ratio, 7:4. Does everybody agree?
Yes.
Okay. Gonna move. Okay, now they come to the next thing. Question 5, calculate the area of a parallelogram. We used to call this years back a palm. If the base is 5 meters and the altitude is 3.2 meters. Altitude, another word for altitude is height. So they're giving you basically, I'll read it again, calculate the area of the parallelogram if the base is 5 meters and the altitude is 2 meters. Maybe something just to remember or reflect on is that a parallelogram has got two of the opposite sides are parallel to each other. And also another easy way to visualize a parallelogram, if you imagine you took the sides, the side on the left and the side on the right of that shape. If you twisted it slowly like that, you could make it a square. So basically, the way people explain a parallelogram is basically a square that has been pushed, flattened a bit. So that should give us a clue in getting the formulas. So the question is, calculate the area. We're then talking area, so we're going to obviously be answering in the square unit. In this case, we're talking meters. Who knows the formula for to calculate the area of a parallelogram? In essence, if you look at what I told you, who knows the formula to calculate the area of a square or a rectangle? Hello? Am I still on? Oh, I probably went off. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Is it not area equals base times height?
But that's very critical that you mentioned the word base mark. So the only difference between I agree with you, base times height. Height being the same as altitude. So the formula for a parallelogram is base times height, whereas a square, the height. If you look at height, you see they're talking it's a 90-degree angle. So if it was a square, you could have used the same formula. Then we normally say length times breadth on a rectangle or a square, side times side. You know what I mean? Parallelogram is base times height. So you can see how that drawing goes there. They gave us the 3.2, and we've got the base, which is 5 meters. So answer there, Marcus?
16.
Correct.
Area equals 5 times 3.2, which is 16.
Yeah, that's exactly how I got that.
Yeah.
Everybody got that? Can we move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay. Okay, this one is quite a bit of Googling for the things, but I always remember this type of thing because of the prefix in a word. It's very important. So the question 6, how many sides do the following polygons have? So if you read a lot or whatever, there's quite a few that you would know. For example, like you get a tricycle, the word tri, I'll go to the bottom one. Tricycle, tri means 3. It's a prefix. It means 3. Yeah. Like deca means 10. Those are the ones we know. Octa means 8. You get an octopus. He's got 8 legs or tentacles or whatever. So there are a couple of common things that we won't need to Google. So penta, we know, means 5. Okay. So I don't know if anybody want to go. So pentagon, do we agree? We're talking about a 5-sided figure.
5-sided.
Hexa, I mean, you can think of everyday examples where you use the prefix hex. I can't think right now, but hex means 6, basically. But hexagon is a 6-sided figure. Admittedly, a hepta I've never used in my whole life. I had to Google that one. Heptagon is a 7-sided figure.
Yeah.
An octagon is an 8-sided figure. You know, you even get a number system called an octet. You get an octave. There's a lot of use where you can derive these things from the first portion of that word itself. A nonagon I've never heard of before, but it's a 9-sided figure. And a deca, you know, you get like a word like a decade. You're talking about a decade, you're talking 10. You know what I mean? or deca means 10. So if you Google that thing, it will tell you it's a 10-sided figure. And as I said, a triangle like tri meaning 3. The triathlon, you see with your triathlon race that you run, you get a tricycle. You know, all those words, basically a triangle, it's got 3 sides. Are we all in agreement there?
Yep.
Can I move, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so here we have to draw, question 7, draw a rough plan, use an appropriate scale. I mean, that's there for a purpose. So, I haven't done this one, but you can maybe just talk through it. For a house with the following rooms, we got 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, 1 living room, and 1 passage. Okay, so basically, you know, unless you're coming with I would think, any ideas there? Maybe people can chime in there because my throat's getting dry now. I need to drink some water. Marcus or Gareth or I can't see the chat. Let me see the chat. Anybody can maybe just go on there how we'd go about answering that question? Tisasani? Or who else is on here? We'll try to get us on our Louisa. I don't know. Anybody want to attempt that one?
2 seconds, that's not fine. Okay, draw a rough floor plan using. Okay, so we just need to draw like a rough floor plan of the house.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, a little block diagram. I mean, you might have a square house, might have a rectangle. So we started with the outside border, basically the way I would understand it, and then you will go. You're going to have 1 bathroom, so you break that whole thing up into little squares. Do we agree that that's basically what we need to do then?
Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where are we?
7.
We're on
Draw a rough
activity
plan.
7.
Yeah. Now question 7 of activity 4. We must look at activity 5. Draw a rough plan. Use an appropriate scale. So that's very important. We need to, obviously, the scale that the drawing is basically to scale. Let's put it that way. So, you know, if you're going to make your outside perimeter border of the house, if you decide you're going for a rectangle shape with maybe a 3 and a 4 length or whatever, remember the drawing's got to be to scale. It's worth 5 marks, and you basically have to cut up that area into little sections or squares, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, 1 living room, and 1 passage. Everybody agree we'll all be able to answer that one, correct? Guys?
Yeah, it shouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, that should be. I agree with you. Shall I move on? I don't know if I'm alone here. Nobody's saying anything. Can I move on, guys?
I'm very behind, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
Now you can move on.
Thanks, Marcus and Gareth and Howard. Study the map and answer the questions below. Remember that because the roads twist and turn, the answers that you get will be estimates rather than accurate figures. Yeah. So I haven't actually looked at this one here. So study the map and then you can see there's Johannesburg Central and Marshalltown, whatever, and they're giving you, I'm just looking at the map. What do you guys see on that map? Or are we studying it? I see they got, like, it looks like a car. It's like a car, so it's driving, probably driving distances they're going to give us or whatever. Science beauty. Okay, cool. Let's go to the question. Describe how you will get from West Coast to the Science Museum. Marcus, off you go. I was blaming Marcus because Mark, you're the only one that's not the only one, but I mean, you at least I know you're there. But then sometimes if the guys are maybe busy with other tasks that they have to do in their daily work and they're not responding, I'm not quite sure. So Gareth, you want to go? Or Howard, or to Society, or Louise? Anybody can go. So What did they say? Where do you want to go to from where to
Looking for
where?
Westgate, I can't see it.
Sorry, where in Westgate, depending where we are. So I'd either take the.
I see the Westgate Howard is on the left there, in the left center, right on the left center. It says Westgate. I see it there.
Left center.
No, left. On
I
total
got
left
another
of the
call.
graph.
Be back.
Can you see? Can you see Fordsburg? Westgate is just below that thing.
Yeah,
On the
I'll
left
take
of the.
that road, then. Well, there's already a blue line. Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
But do you agree? There's probably a couple of routes west from Westgate to where are we going?
There's a science museum. It's
Where's
just
the
up
science?
there on the top, below the green area.
Oh, I see it. Okay. So Westgate to the Science Museum.
So I'd follow that one blue line from the yellow.
I
So
don't
the
know.
yellow road, then to the R24, that white road up.
Well, I wonder why
Oh,
I'm
there
just. Why is that? Why is there no road there to Ferrari's Dorp or whatever?
Okay, well, I just went on Google's map and I pulled the route. So
Okay, I hear you what you're saying, but I mean, this is what they're giving us. We can't go on with Google, even they're giving us a scenario with Joburg's in Australia. This is what we must answer this question. You know what I'm saying, Gareth? But I mean, yeah, that would be the best thing to have Googled and just said, you know, give us a route, shortest route. Okay, I would think you'd have to go all the way. My thinking is you get on that yellow road, whatever that road is, I'll have to go look what it is, and you just go there. You can either deviate, but your main thing is you need to get on this big fat white road here. Whatever this is, 5th Street R24. You need to get onto that R24 somehow. So there's a couple of ways you can get. You could have turned off on the first branch and then gone back onto the other yellow one and got there. There's a couple of ways to get there. So I think we just choose our route that you want to go. Maybe someone would want to just go across the yellow and instead of taking the first turn off there where the fork is, just continue until you get onto the R24 and then travel up north, if that is north, towards the Science Museum. And there you're right opposite there, I suppose. I don't know if you must then park your car and start walking to the Science Museum because there's no road there. But I mean, we can waffle there. I don't know. Like I said, there's another one where there's no clear thing. It's just there's no right or wrong answer. Understand? Do we agree? I'm not hearing anything.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Yeah, so basically there's various routes. Like I said, there's many ways to what? Skin a cat or what is it? I don't know what they call it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of ways to go there. Even your way that you said there, Mark, with that blue line goes up to Ferrari's Dorp.
Yeah.
You could decide there you're going to park your car and take a walk and then start jogging. I don't know. All I'm looking at is how close can I get before I must walk? Because when there's no road, I'm assuming there must be. I can't see these pictures because I see there's driving. And I don't know what that other picture means, but they all mean something. So obviously, routes to be driven, there should be like a car showing there. That's where we can drive. But I think if there's a road, we can drive. If there's no road, I guess we will have to walk. I don't know. Okay. Must I move on?
Yeah, you can move on.
Okay. Moving on. We still need to do a summary before we get there. This guy, I will get to so we now explain that 3 marks. We can choose. There's no right, wrong route. They're not telling us what is the quickest route. What is the one where you can go with a car, where you have to use a bicycle. I can't see all the icons clearly because I'm getting old on that map. But yeah, basically, just see that you get there somehow. And that makes sense, you know, whether it's the longest route or not. You know, you could probably end up driving in the opposite direction and then still get out there, it doesn't matter. It's not, there's no clear right answer here. You know what I mean? That's what I'm understanding from this question. A lot of the questions. Okay, then approximately how far is it if the scale is 1 centimeter equals 20, is 1 centimeter equals 5 kilometers. So now we have to apply that 1 centimeter equals 5 kilometers. Anybody want to wager guess there? We obviously have to just agree on a route. What is the shortest route? They never asked us, but what is the shortest route? Knowing that roads are, it's just a guesstimate. It's not accurate. We could do like Gareth said, just Google and answer it, or we could apply it here. I don't know.
My shortest route is 800 meters.
800 meters. Okay, cool. How did you get it?
How did I get it? Google.
Oh,
But where are you in Westgate? Because I mean, it doesn't say where you are in Westgate. So if you're right on the edge there, close to Verredersdorp, then possibly 800 meters.
How much? What's the scale they're talking about? 1 centimeter is 5 kilometers. So I'm gonna. I don't know how. I don't know. You know. So if you're looking at the shortest route, I'd go. I'm going to work on my route. I think everybody must just apply the route that they choose.
Yeah.
And then know, okay, 1 centimeter is basically 10 millimeters, about the thickness of your pinky or something like that, your little finger. So you could basically go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get about 10. 10 times 5 kilometers, eh?
Yeah, I've got 8. So mine
Yeah, well,
40 kilometers.
Yeah,
that's 40 kilometers.
Yeah, look, they're saying that we go according to how many centimeters you
Yeah.
might get. Maybe your finger is thinner than mine, or maybe you're actually going to sit there with a ruler and measure it. I don't know. But basically, and also your route that you're taking, because they don't say what is the shortest route or whatever. But basically, that's what we will do. We just have to remember that 1 centimeter on this scale is 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
And then guesstimate or kind of measure if you want to really measure it. And what was the Google answer, Gareth? 800 meters.
800
Yeah.
meters.
800 meters.
Yeah, wow, there's something different between Google and that. This thing is already saying 5 kilometers is 1 centimeter. One.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but you can't. Yeah, but you can't. Well, it depends. If you take a longer route, then yeah, you'll exceed 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
But the shortest route, and I've done a comparison between the maps on Google Map and as well as the map that's presented. That route is basically valid according to the map.
Okay, cool. So maybe that's what we need to do. But I'm just thinking the fact that they're giving us the scale, they're wanting us to look at this map, and that should influence us on our answer. That's my take. I don't know. What do you guys think? But basically, yeah, then we all have to just go our route. And can we move on? Guys?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay. So then we worked out those two things, and now we need, where are we now? I'm just scrolling down. Okay, so that's the end of it. So now maybe someone can summarize, because I can't summarize as well now what we agreed on and what we got through these things. So I don't know, Marcus or Gareth or Howard, which is a Susani, or Louise, if one of you all want to maybe summarize basically the answers we came up with for the questions.
Okay, Mr. Mark, thank you so much. Nicely done. I have a suggestion. Why don't we summarize all the activities once we are done? Because in the interest of time, really, let us jump on to activity number 5, and then we'll both summarize, and then you can, anyone can select whoever who can summarize this other activity, and the other one who can summarize this other activity. Can we do activity number 5 in the interest of time? Then we'll therefore look whether or not who's going to summarize all these activities?
I agree.
Let us do that. Thank you. Please proceed with activity number 5.
Gareth, do you want to lead, Gareth? Butcher Society or Howard?
Guys, I'm sorry.
Louisa?
I'm dealing with a massive escalation for ABSA. I'm tapping in and out, just speaking as I go. So I'm not dependable at the moment.
Okay, I hear with you. I hear what you're saying, Gareth. Anybody else want to want to lead? Anyone?
Next, anyone?
Okay,
Can you just lead and do activity number 5, please?
okay, answer this
It's
question.
this one. We
Expenses,
have already done the cost control
Right.
calculations. Can we proceed?
okay, expenses are expected to be as below for project you're running. Purchase of goods, 200,000 for month 1 and 220 for month 2. Salaries and wages, 50,000 for month 1, 240,000 for month 2. Rent, month 1, 25,000. Utility expenses, 20,000 per month. Advertising promotions, month 1, 10,000, month 2, 12,000. Miscellaneous costs, month 1, 15,000 and 20,000. Using the information provided, prepare a budget for the 2 months. Is anybody there?
I'm here, Marcus.
Okay. Awesome.
It's just
Thought that
I'm
should
trying
be
to
all.
reflect and recap what we covered this right earlier on before we went through this whole calculation thing, you know.
Yeah, but shouldn't
So-
we just so using the provider to prepare a budget for 2 months? So
Yeah.
we'll just break it up over the year period and then every second month.
No, you see, they've already given us the purchase of goods. Month 1 was 200,000, month 2 was 220. So they've given us.
What I'm looking at is that table obviously has got something to do with, I haven't now gone to reference, but basically what I'm understanding, they're using the word budget, and the budget is basically it's, you got there's a table there, your income, which you'll get from your sponsors and your whoever's investing in the project, and your expenditure, shouldn't, it can't exceed what you got. So what is our income? I see a lot of expenses there. Purchase of goods, salaries and wages, rent, we know that. So what is the income? Any ideas, guys? I don't know if anybody's done accounting, but this is very similar to what I did 30 years, 40 years ago. Basically you've got your income versus your expenditure statement. So my thing is, we know we're going to have to fork out all that bucks. That's all expenses. Where's that? What's the income? Where are we getting the money from?
Okay, I think we need to work out what the budget will be before we know how much to charge for that project.
Oh, so maybe the one, what you saying, basically the one is dependent on the other. So if we know what the expenses are,
Yeah,
we could know what we need as funding.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you with what you say, Mark. That makes a lot of sense to me. Have you got an example of a is there a sample budget you can look at in this format?
Just Googling.
20 bucks, eh? And they wanted like Gareth said, the most thing we want a budget for 2 months. And everything they've given us in expenses there is basically for a month. So basically for 2 months, our expenses would double. So it shouldn't be. I mean, I'm just thinking.
On month 1, it was 50,000, and then month 2 went up to 240.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh, good point, eh? Oh, they're giving it in month 1 and month 2. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So basically, you need to add up all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do we agree? Utilities expenses 20,000 per month. So that one we need to times 2. And rent. Okay. Are we agreeing?
Yes. Yeah, the rent and utilities seem to be that
Times 2. Advertising, they gave us a breakdown for each month. So how would it, I mean, I haven't drawn up a budget. How would it, would you list your expenses for the first month first, and then for the second month, and then get the total? I don't know what's the format.
I'm
Any
also not
ideas?
sure how we have to we have to do this. I'm not sure.
No, my budgeting skills are not good at all.
But is there maybe, let me go and look in the manual while I'm going offline quickly. I want to see what a sample budget is, if you can see this, because certain things that must like have that format, you must list this in that right order. You know, we don't want to be mixing up the 2 months and then we are losing half our marks where they maybe want us, I don't know. But we all agree basically the general idea, we have to add up all the expenses for the 2 months, and that would mean we would need to source an income from a sponsor to cover that. That would basically determine the budget.
Okay.
Am I right in my thinking? I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, no, well, it sounds right to me.
Okay, I'm going to go offline while you guys are discussing. I'm going to just go look, see if I can find a budget in the manual on Google. Okay.
Okay, now it sounds like using the information provided, prepare a budget for 2 months. So month 1, our budget will be say 250. Okay, so the first month the budget will be 320, and the second month the budget will be 537.
I'm with you, bud. But they say prepare a budget for the 2 months. So we're not talking about a budget for the 1 month and a budget for the other month. We're talking about the overall budget for the 2 months. I found on the, what you call it, if you look at this activity 5, if you go to the learner guide on page 47, this activity follows after we just did there's a sample budget there. But basically it's so we just need to adapt and answer according to that thing, I would think. And there you can see basically they just listed the expenses and they don't have actual amounts in the example, and they just got XXX. So I think we should be able to, I don't know what else we can do there. So what I would do, the way I'm thinking I will answer my question is I will list all the last thing I will fill in is basically the income, because I don't have it as, but I would think.
Yeah, we don't have the income. Yeah, all we have is the first 2 months of that project that it was running, what the expenses were.
But yeah, I think we could have a total for 2, but we need to actually, obviously, because we're supposed to monitor this as the project is going on, Marcus. So maybe that's a good point. So it's almost like 2 budgets in one. So we'll have to have a subtotal for the first month to see if we're within budget there in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have another subtotal for the second month, and then the total budget, you know? So maybe that's how it should be drawn up. So when you we list our income, our expenses, we list it for 1 month, And that would be the total budget for that month as a subtotal, if I can call it that way. And then we list all the expenses for the second month. And then we get a subtotal for the second. So we know, we'll know if we were over in the first month or under on the first month. And the second, and then we can have the total budget for the two, reflecting the two sections.
For the first month it was 320,000, and then second month it went up to 537,000.
Okay. And I think what you said, all we need to remember there is basically where they give an expense for 1 month, we need to multiply it by 2.
Yeah.
So rent for 1 month is 25,000. We have to conclude then, because we're using the 2 months, there was no increase, or we hope there was no increase, or exchange rates, or whatever that was mentioned in the things that could affect this thing.
Yeah.
We could say basically it's probably going to be 25,000 the next month. Same for the utility expenses, 20,000, and we have to reflect that in the next month as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we all agree. I don't know if there's anything else.
What I don't understand on miscellaneous costs, so we're adding 15,000 and 20,000, which is 35,000 for month 1, which will be 35,000 for month 1, and then we will multiply it by 2 for both the months.
I hear what you're saying. Eh? I hear what you're saying. You see, yeah, that miscellaneous one doesn't, like advertising gives you a breakdown 10,000 for month 1, and month 2 was 12,000. This one just says month 1 is 15,000 and 20,000. Are we to assume that they forgot to say for month 2? You see, there's again open to interpretation.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends how you interpret it. So we can't fault us if I read it now the way I'm actually reading it. I'm starting to lean to it's almost like they're both in month 1, like how it's said now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I also assumed, but it could be maybe it was both, you know.
Well, like I say, it's probably like the other thing where there's a bit of interpretation needed, which cannot affect us negatively when it gets marked or scored. It's just how did we understand it?
Yeah.
And it's not our problem. It's not clearly communicated that it only means this. We don't know what it means. Let's face it. You could come up, I could read it differently. How would read it just as everybody could read it differently. So I don't think we need to stress too much on how we read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I don't know, maybe the purpose of the group discussion is that we must actually agree how we're going to read it. Which could take a lot of time.
But if they say this end, we know that they are going together. We must add them somehow. They didn't say month 1 and month 2. They say month 1 it's 15 and 20,000.
I think they just forgot the 2.
It's possible. So how are we going to interpret that? Does it even matter if should we be agreeing on how we're going to all interpret it?
Well, I'm going to say it's for month 1 and month 2 for mine.
But I think that, like, when I get a situation like this, I'm always saying this is how I'm understanding it, and then I'm going to answer it. And sometimes because I'm so desperate, I'm going to not get it right. I'll rather give the other way it could be interpreted. So it's overkill. But I don't think that's necessary. I'm just going to interpret one way.
Yeah.
I think the majority of us is thinking, I'm not sure, or we're thinking, I'm not. Howard, what are you thinking? Are you thinking it? How are you interpreting
it? I think I'm going to add 15,000 and 20,000. That's how I understand the question.
Is it both on month 1 or what, 15 on month 1 and 20 on month 2?
It says month 1, 15,000 and 20,000. There's no month 2.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Even if it was month 2 there, they would have stated it. Okay, so maybe I hear what you're saying. There's no right or wrong here. So I think I'm tending to trick us. I'm tending to agree with you, Howard. I have to read what I see. Whether that is written right or wrong, I'm not going to make any assumptions. They're telling you, and that's the way I think we should actually apply it. 15,000 and 20,000 was spent in month one. There was no miscellaneous cost in month two. And that's my interpretation. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And like I said, I don't think there's a right or wrong. It's just interpret and motivate why you got to your budget.
Yeah. Okay, question 2. Table below shows the price of a share in the company is listed and how many shares were bought. Complete. Okay, this is 2 times 119.
Are you on question 2 now, Marcus?
Yeah.
How did you answer question small question 2 in the Roman numerals?
Oh, good.
Yes, I'm just looking. There's a 5 marker there.
That's how you can improve the profitability of your project if the information above applied to it. Why are those extra people that were working in month 2?
Just look at those salaries.
Yeah.
In month, it went up by uses. It's like 500%. Yeah, almost 500%.
So there must have been extra people coming on.
Yeah. What is the difference between the two budgets, Mark?
On mine it was 320 and 537. So
it went
217,000.
217,000. They're asking how can you improve the profitability of your project information about applied to it.
That went up by 217,000 on month 1. That's if the miscellaneous costs were month 1 and month 2, not altogether in month 1.
Yeah. But the whole question is, I'm still not convinced about the actual planned expenses or the cost, the base cost line.
That's the
Even
thing.
when-
They didn't give us a base cost line, something to reference.
Yeah, to reference, yeah. So my thing is, even if it went 5 times more, the salaries went 5 times up or more, if it's within budget, maybe there were just more little tasks that could, that were dependent tasks that couldn't happen in the first month, but it could only happen on the 6th month. So maybe there was an expectancy to spend more in the 2nd month. So we need to understand all that before we can decide how we can make it more profitable.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe you should not employ unnecessary resources, because sometimes we employ resources that will end up sitting but getting paid. And then number 2 is to not overdo it, maybe on bonuses. We must avoid that because it might, I don't know.
Oh, what? Aye. Bonuses, don't touch that.
How can you explain the spike of salaries and wages? How can you expect that?
You see, and rent didn't go up. So what was the rent for? Was it not for the workers?
And then
But if you take even just the rent, where if you're going to be very literal, where we're saying miscellaneous cost was 15 and 20, nowhere there, we're just making an assumption that the rent is the same the next month. And should we be doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should, because it says month 1. 25,000 per month. You see, they're trying to trick us again. They say month 1, 25,000 per month.
Oh,
So
I get that.
the
That's a
agreement
good
is
point.
already there. The agreement is already there that each month is 25,000. So we have
Okay.
to assume from there that the next month it will still be 25,000.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks, Howard. That clears it up in my mind, as well as the utility expenses per month.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm with
No
you.
problem.
I'm with you.
So how can we improve profitability? Do we agree that we can avoid employing unnecessary resources? Because I think we need like 5.
Yeah, I think right, because that's the only place we can save on is salaries and wages. Unless you, because the goods went up 20,000. Unless we buy cheaper quality goods.
No, but remember with that what's it? The triple constraints, the one thing you need to keep quality. That's the one thing. You want to fail, don't drop quality. Everything else can be changed, but we want to keep quality of the project constant. Otherwise, we might as well not be project managers.
Yeah. And advertising and promotions. Maybe cut
What
back
does
a little
Google
bit.
say? How do you, if you?
But what is this company doing before anything? What is the company producing?
We don't know.
So this becomes very difficult. Just using, we don't even know what that miscellaneous cost is for. We don't know what extra stuff we are buying here for the extra 5,000 rands on the second month. So it's very difficult. The place that we can play, Howard is right, is around the salaries and the miscellaneous cost, but we don't know what those miscellaneous costs are. So those are the only 2 places that we can actually be able to play around to increase our profitability.
And the goods as well. There
Yeah,
was
guys,
an increase of 20,000 on the goods.
But isn't this goods what is allowing us to now make our profits? So if these goods are part of our project expenses, they might not be unless we get a cheaper supplier.
But guys, just I can just, you see that number, that US number, which is linked to soccer on the training. I don't know if you guys read that things or whatever, but I think this is probably going to fall under one of the sections where you have to motivate why you've actually got the competency. And you're going to find it's going to fall under something that's called creative thinking. There's a section there where you have to say where you've applied creative thinking in whatever. And I'm sure this question, if I was going to look at it, maybe I'll do it after the thing, it's going to fall under there where we've got no definites. And you have to like start creating your own thing, you know? I just thought on a different point, I'll just mention that. There's no like set constants. That's the answer. That's the answer. You have to think creatively and. Anyway, sorry I said that.
Well, so I agree. It's very, very open ended the question. The costing that's being provided doesn't say what we're purchasing, what industry we're in. It's very open ended, so it's open to interpretation. I mean, the first one, avoid employing unnecessary, and avoid employing unnecessary, which is valid. You can shop around for competitive costing on goods as well as advertising. Utilities, we can maybe monitor your electrical usage, or you can seek alternative towards power. That's about the only things that I can think of that would bring costing down. But then obviously utilities will go up if you put in solar or inverters or whatever the case is. So it's a win-lose situation there. That's my feedback.
But on utilities, we can really cover include utilities because it's already fixed.
I'm thinking maybe what if we, let's say we were now running, we were project managing this thing. When would we want to increase profitability? What would lead us wanting to do that? I would think clearly we must be running at a loss, which means we must be running over budget, and we have to then see what, finding the learner guides in Google, what do you do if you streamline and bring everything back online? I don't know. That's just what I'm looking at. Why would they ask us this question? How do you improve profitability? Clearly,
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, every business is for making profit. So even if you are already making, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not making profit for you to increase profitability. Even if you can make like the 5,000 rands extra profit, or 1,000 rands extra profit, you are increasing profitability by that percentage. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this person is running on a loss. It's just asking us as a project manager, what loopholes can we see that we can use to spend less on expenses.
okay, yeah. I think we're saying the same thing. I'm just looking at it in real time, but yeah, we're saying the same thing. Because I mean, in the end of the day, if you're managing a project, whatever, you already know what the profitability of that thing is going to be. Otherwise, why are you doing it? So there is set targets, and my thing is the only way I'm going to be able to answer this question is I'm clearly not making the profit as what I should be making, and what somewhere in our studies that we've done here, there is a turnaround plan that they've taught us, and those are going to be, like Howard said now, not a poor allocation resources, you know, having too much of this, or the workload not spread equally. It's the answer somewhere in there, in that whole maze, if I can call it. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Marcus, you're cheering, but we're almost out of time.
Okay. Okay. Number 2. Can we go into number 2? The table below shows the price of a share in the companies listed and how many shares were bought. Complete the table. Okay,
There
so
we go.
Got to multiply.
That's our income.
Yeah, number of shares by the price per share.
That's the income. We just covered that earlier. Well, not earlier, about an hour ago. I remember shares is all different forms of, we went through it, that can serve as income. You know, so shares are income.
Yeah.
So now we're getting the answer to our income.
Okay, so now we just got to add the multiply the price per share by the shares.
So I don't know. We are on number 2. Okay. On Absa Bank, the total price for the shares, it should be 238.9. Sorry?
238.9.
Yeah. And then for SAP, it's supposed to be 523.65.
Yep.
Ten 638.35. And then Woolworths 175.08.
So basically, this is just like what's happening here. I see is just simple maths that needs to happen. Are we in agreement? Because I think we need to move a bit.
Yeah. Yes.
So like Mark said, you'll just take the current share price and the number of shares you times it by that, and that will be the total price for those things. And similarly, the question 3 is the same. Similar, I think the table gives, so the price, the current share price, and the money you have to spend, so how much shares can you get? So I mean, that's a simple thing, you know, what's the divisible into the amount you got to spend. So basically 119 can only go in there once, so you can buy one share max. And they buy SAB breweries, 174 probably will go in there, maybe about 3, maybe 2. I don't know. We just need to do a math, you know, but you can almost buy 0.8 of a share, Marcus, man.
You can.
Can you?
I'm sure you can. You must be able to.
No, man. I don't know. Well, that's an interesting thing. I'm going to Google it. I always thought you can only buy 1 share or 2 shares or 100 shares, 1,000 shares.
Yeah, but you're gonna need special permission for you to buy 0.8 of a share. So if they're not selling it at that ratio, then you shouldn't attempt to buy it. Also, when we're answering this question, we must pay attention to the fact that there is an allocated number of shares that each company is selling. So sometimes you might have enough money to buy a certain number of shares, but they only have a certain number of shares that they're selling. Like SAB is selling only 3 shares. So even if your money can be enough to buy more than 3 shares, you can only buy 3.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate that input.
Wait, where do we see that?
It says the table given below shows the same companies listed in the table above.
Yeah, so they're related. I missed that. Thank you so much, Isizani.
You keep on messing my name up. It's Chili Sanani.
He's calling
Chili Sadani.
Yes.
No, well, the previous lecturer was calling you Chisasani, so I'll just say the same. Chili Sanani. Okay, I got it now. I got it now. Sorry, man. My apologies.
Now you're saying MTN we can only buy 5, even though the amount of money you have, you can buy 11 shares.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very important point. Thanks for that. Okay, we're almost done. I think we're about done, eh?
No, I'm still on Willie's.
Are you actually answering it now? Oh, no. I'm not working out the mess now. I'm just making it what we agree on, and then I'll do it afterwards.
And Willie's is 12. You can max out there. Be a high roller, make it rain.
Can we move on?
Okay, but you see in question 2, it says the table below shows the price of the share in the company is listed and how many shares were bought. Not how many shares that we're going to sell or they can sell.
Oh, available. Okay. Oh, okay. That chucks another.
As well, I understand this. Number 3 is how many shares you will be able to buy for the amount of money. So even if they are selling, say, 12 shares, you'll be able to buy 157. That's what I think.
Oh yeah. You are right. You are right, Anthony. I just read the question and then I see, yeah, irrespective of how many shares they have. Yeah, you are right.
So now we're back on Willie's is 157.
So obviously you have to divide here to see how many shares you will get.
Yeah.
Money to spend, and then you divide it by the price per share.
Okay, I think that's it. 9 minutes. So what, just in conclusion on this question, we're saying the two are not related. It's not how much is available that was misleading.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, cool. So summarize, guys, and then I think we're done for the day.
Well done to everyone who participated and who contributed in your both activities. I must say it's quite informative. I thought I should compress the two excuse me, compress the two activities rather than not to do them. The activities were done. I was listening. You get the concept. You know, colleagues, as long as you can demonstrate your understanding, be as it may, the marker will have their own perspective where you come from with this conclusion of your answer. But obviously, correct answers needs to be on point. But at the same time, marker's discretion is always applied because we have different understanding in as far as the question is concerned. But the purpose of this formative is to agree whether or not the question relates to what you understand, and then you apply it and then agree to put it on place in your POEs or not. And obviously, to the certain extent, you may want to expatiate your answers differently, but that is your own prerogative. But as a group, you needed to do the activity collectively. That is a formative thing to be done in this session. Then obviously when you are sitting down in your POE, you can expatiate. It's your own prerogative, and we are not penalizing you on that one. And I cannot be doing comparison to who said what on here, who did not say what on this. And the only thing that I'm interested in is to see the demonstration of your understanding in the concept. I thought I should bring that one into your attention and so that you are at ease. Okay. Can you mute yourself, please? Hey. Let me mute him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to summarize or you want to leave it for next week? It's still okay with me. After the lengthy, but it's still fresh on your mind. You can summarize both activities. You were in the right direction. I cannot fault you. And all two activities, you have demonstrated your understanding, and I fully agree with the perspective that you were coming from with the answers that you were deriving to the conclusion of the answering the questions there. So you may want to choose to do the summary now. I don't know. Or you may want to start with the summaries next week to freshen up your minds as we will be proceeding. Next week, we'll proceed with activity number 6 and 7. We conclude the unit. I need to conclude that unit next week, and then so that I may do the introduction of the new unit by also next week. So if we can do that now so that so it's entirely up to you. I'm flexible. You summarize now, or you summarize when we start the session at 12 o'clock precisely. We are moving ahead of schedule, and then we start the other remaining unit. Actually, there will be a session that is left in this unit. Then we start the new unit by next week as well.
We're left to like 4 minutes. Maybe we should just do it next week.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because I mean, there's still other things that you are doing, so I don't like to keep you in this session. But yeah, maybe perhaps next week we can prolong, and if you are willing to sacrifice a little bit, we stretch, because I need to introduce a new unit next week. Before we leave, we must have touched that unit. That's my wish. Okay. Thank you so much, colleagues. Let us touch base. Please be punctual. As project managers, time is of the essence when you are doing a project. So punctuality will be one of the things that we need to be mindful of. And so let us start at 12 exactly, and then we do the summary of both activities, then we move on, and then we get to the introduction of the new unit. Okay, have a safe one. Let us conclude here, and thank you very much for your participation. And yeah, I'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay,
Wow.
keep well,
Thanks,
keep
bye.
safe,
Cheers,
and
bye.
bye. Okay.